Are you going to be lining up out there this weekend?
Pretty close. I'm a little too small though. So.
Can you speak to the depth or the lack of that you got right now? You guys are beat up pretty bad.
Well, obviously, everybody knows that Roman Sapolu is out, has a fracture in his foot, needs surgery. Grant Bayes has a MCL tear, and he'll be out a few weeks. No, I'm sorry, Grant Enger. We got a lot of guys rotating around, and right now we'll have Mike Phillip at left tackle, Josh Andrews at left guard, Josh Mitchell will be at center, Grant Bayes will be at right guard, and Isaac Samau will be out at right tackle.
How do you feel about that lineup?
Good, I'm excited about it. But, to me, the biggest thing we got to do is improve our run game, Hawaii, we didn't run the ball worth a lick, so that's got to be a big part of our emphasis.
When you watch the
Just going back to basics, you know what I mean?
Will Harlow be stepping in at all in that rotation?
Well, we're trying to redshirt him, but obviously we're paper thin here, so he's got to be ready. He's practiced at guard, he's practiced at tackle, and so he's got to be ready to go.
How comfortable are you having with Isaac moving to right tackle?
I'm real comfortable. He could play anywhere.
So what was kind of the thought process behind that? Having just because Mitchell was comfortable at center, and what was kind of the?
Well, we had talked a long time ago about if anything ever happened, we could move Isaac out to tackle. So, and that was the deal. And Josh obviously went through all the spring practice at center. Started the first game against Eastern Washington there, so that was our thought process.
The fact that Isaac played tackle in high school, does that play into this at all, or is it
not
just
really?
his ability
he I've known the guys. I think Joe and I started coaching him in 6th grade, so he's a pretty experienced guy, and so I think he could play center, guard, tackle, left tackle, wherever, tight end.
How does he help you, Mike, going outside in terms of what you want to do in the run game with Isaac now at right tackle?
Well, he's athletic, I think he was still making calls from out at right tackle in the game against Hawaii, but, we're just trying to get our best 5 guys out there, and overall, it's not just Isaac, it's our whole line and the tight ends. We got to improve that run game.
What have you noticed from Bayes kind of stepping into that role? How's he been?
Well, he's got to grow up fast, obviously. He's got a lot of talent, and he just got to get real focused.
What about the guys behind that first? Can you depend on Garrett because he seems like he had one day practice?
No.
Well, what about the?
Well, Nolan Hansen's a walk-on tackle, and Sean Harlow. So.
In hindsight, it's 2020, but losing a guy like Derek Nielsen, does that hurt you looking back on it?
Nah, I'm not really going to go there.
What about Addy? How's he doing?
Still out.
Do you expect him back
No.
at all?
Mike, when you look at the film in terms of running the football, you talked about the line and the tight ends need to be better. Can you pinpoint what the...
Yeah, our leverage stunk. We're too high. We got to get underneath people. We got to finish our blocks. Almost isn't good enough. We got to get our positioning right, and we got to finish.
I know the play was called back on the block on Cooks, but that was a good-looking
Right.
run play, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what keyed that.
Well, obviously, I think everybody did their job. So, everybody doing their job, having great positioning, finishing. But that was what we call our taxi play, and everybody executed pretty well, and everybody got a hat on a hat, and it was a good deal.
What do you see from the Utah fronts?
They're tough, It's going to be big, physical. It's going to be loud as hell in there, and it's going to be crazy. So, but Utah's a great football team, and they're going to be a physical group. So
you don't see any how they replace Starr in your eyes the first couple of games?
Well, they got 2 good tackles, and they got a couple other young guys that are, pretty good players too. So I don't really worry about people, too much. So
What was kind of going through your mind watching that game from the box, seeing Enger and Sapolu go down in that game in the second half?
Let's see. Who's next?
Mike, from the running game standpoint, you want to get better. How do you feel about pass blocking so far?
We had a few breakdowns against Hawaii and handled a few of the things that they did too well, but overall I thought it was pretty solid.